Texans selected Jawhar Jordan, running back out of Louisville, in the 6th round this past weekend. He is 5'9", 195-ish. I suspect perhaps a little bit lower, not a huge guy, but he ran for 1,128 yards last year, averaging 6.2 yards per carry. Exciting guy to watch. I'm going to show some highlights, and I put the bed of some questions from his press conference, questions from Jonathan Alexander and Aaron Wilson, plus comments from D'Amico Ryans while these highlights play. Enjoy, and then we'll discuss. I also want to talk about Dameon Pierce and where his role is now and moving forward with the Texans.
Jawhar, Jonathan Alexander, Houston Chronicle. I saw you tweeted that you're a steal of this draft. Why do you believe you're the steal of this draft?
Oh, really? Not only I've always been underrated, and people count me out a lot. And even this past season, I wasn't on any the top running backs. And I wasn't one of the top ACC running backs going into the season. But I made my statement, and that's just something I live by, like just making my mark, leaving my mark. And I know that when it's all said and done, I'll be one of the greatest.
Aaron Wilson from KPRC NBC News. How would you describe your style of play?
I think my game is versatile. I can obviously run the ball. I'm a strong runner, see the holes well. I got speed too, and a little bit of wiggle, so I'm gonna make a few guys miss, and definitely a threat in the passing game as well. Once I get the ball in my hand, I'm a threat.
I really like the juice that he has out of the backfield. I think he has plays with tremendous speed, so we're looking to add some speed to our backfield, and we think he provides that for us, and he also provides some special teams value as well as a returner. So really excited about the role that he's shown that he was able to do at Louisville, and excited about seeing him come in and compete here.
Okay, are you excited? You should be. This guy is intriguing as hell because honestly, he's a small back, which hurt him in the draft. He ends up going 6th round, but he has speed, but it's not necessarily that immediately explosive speed that you expect out of a smaller back. He really, in a lot of ways, almost reminds me of a diminutive Derrick Henry, if that's such a thing. I mean, you watch him in college, he's breaking tackles, he's lowering his shoulder. And when he has a clear path or when he has a good look, he cuts and gets up and goes vertically, and he can make his cuts on the move. Like, he doesn't have to stop. So he runs differently than most small backs run. So there's going to be concerns about whether or not he can break those tackles at the NFL level or whether his athleticism is enough. I think he is another one of these guys who tests slower than he is on film. You can see here on this run, he gets the ball, hits the line of scrimmage at about 15.7 miles per hour, works his way up to 20.7 miles per hour. For reference, some of the very fastest runs by running backs in a given NFL year will be about 21.5 miles per hour. But you can see this play involves a run. I slowed it down a little bit where he makes a cut but maintains and accelerates through it. You get a lot of looks like that. So there is a home run potential here that I think adds a little bit of a different element than perhaps Joe Mixon or Dameon Pierce, just that top-end game speed. And really, it's just a question of all that physicality you saw. Can he do that against bigger athletes in the NFL? And it would be super, super, super awesome if he did. When it comes to the mentality, the commitment to team, swarm mentality, all of that. Sarge asked him a good question.
Your running backs coach, Chris Barkley, says you play the game for the team and not for yourself. Is that something that you were able to get across to the Texas organization when you were able to talk to them?
Yeah, I think they did their research on how I am as a player and a teammate. Like you said, I always put the team first. I was banged up in the middle of the season, but I had the option to, stop playing. But, the team, my brothers, they meant so much to me, and we wanted to win so bad. I'd do anything for them and, to do what's best for the team. So, I went out there each week and did what I had to do.
And Nick Caserio actually mentioned that when he was on the air with Sean Pendergast and I today, that he played injured last year. And this is a guy that when he first transferred to Louisville was 4th or 5th on the depth chart, worked his way up. So he's got a chip on his shoulder. If I had to compare him to a player in spirit on the Texans right now, I think I'd say Tank Dell, because he's smaller in stature, but like I think his bite is bigger than his bark. If you want to reverse that whole thing, this is a tough dude. I'm going to pull for him because I love the way he runs. And frankly, I like his home run hitting ability. And of course, the other running back that we love in terms of attitude is Dameon Pierce, but he took a big step back in his second year. He spoke with Sean Pendergast and Clint Sterner during the post game after the Browns game this year. Remember when he had that huge kickoff return for a touchdown? And he was really, really honest with the struggles he had. I'm going to do something that might be a little bit confusing here. I want to play his highlights from 2022 while I play this interview from 2023 where he explained some of the difficulties he was having adjusting to the new offense. But I just wanted to remind you of just how freaking awesome he was in 2022.
It may not be the best year of my career, stat-wise, but honestly, I think this is the best year of my career mentally. It's giving me time to look at the game from different perspectives. It's teaching me life lessons. I'm like, okay, so how do I handle adversity? Because I really never had adversity up until this point. Yeah. So how do I handle adversity? And, speaking on that, how do I respond to adversity? I still come in, do I come in geared down? No. Still respond the same way. Keep working, keep chipping away. And, I'm surrounded by, I got a great circle surrounding me, keeping me confident, coaches and players everybody just keeping me calm, composed and just there for me. So just being on this team has helped in that department tremendously. And Slow, I appreciate Slow life, man. Slow take his time with me, bro. He ain't giving up on me. And my way to pay him back for that is me, just playing how I'm playing, making plays when I can, making the best of my opportunity when I'm out there. And I've gotten better gradually. It's a gradual thing, but Coach DB, he was my coach last year. He kind of knows how to approach it with me. Motor, great asset in the running back room. He keeps me motivated. And just at the end of the day, bro, this year too really has been my best year, I guess, as a football player. In terms of developing as a football player and developing that. Okay, this is why we're doing this. This is why we're doing that. Because last year was, I wouldn't say simpler, but it was like we was in completely different scenarios. We weren't in playoff football. We were just, just a lot of stuff was different than last year to this year. So, like I said, it might not be the best year, stat-wise, but to me, mentally, physically, and where I'm at as a football player, this is definitely one of my best years of recent memory.
Yeah, so like how can you not love that freaking kid? He's so pure and good when it comes to the kind of guy you want on your football team. I think a couple things happened last year. Some of this was on Dameon and him needing to grasp the offense and pick up some concepts and be better and understand the zone blocking system. But I think also, look, the runs that Dameon is good at when we're talking man blocking, old school, a lot of stuff with fullbacks, when he can follow blockers on a clear path, he still has a lot of pop to him. But I think the other thing, obviously, was that the offensive line was not always at its best, either because of injuries or because the scheme was new, or just because of some guys needing to play better. A lot of things went into it last year that made it uncomfortable for Dameon Pierce. But it was really cool the way he talked about how he plans on attacking it this offseason.
This offense is requiring a version of me that I haven't attained yet. And I hate to say it, I hate to sound this way, but that's nothing I can fix during the season. So I really I'm kind of in a limbo to where, okay, I can't fix it during the season, but that don't mean I can't still try to work at it. That's kind of an off-season thing, okay, let me get my playbook, let me get my body back right. Let me, prepare physically for this, because it's a bigger load. It's a way bigger load than last year. And it was kind of a shock to me, mentally and physically. And that kind of, made me stagnant. And then, like I said, I had got an injury. It was a lot of compounded things. But like you said, bro, it's really not the adversity, is how you respond to it. And I'm just trying to make sure I respond to it the best as I can and just grow from this. So next year, when I am where I want to be mentally and physically, my year can be that much more better. Our year can be that much more better, and we can go out and be lights out with CJ, man.
So like there's no way you listened to that and thought like, I don't need Dameon on this team. Like, and there's no way you watched that. Like I'm glad I went back and rewatched some of his games from last year, because even in some of the bad games, like the Falcons game, there was a lot of the issues that he has with the zone run game that showed up. But he also did have some really nice runs in that game, despite it being kind of a lackluster performance. And after that Falcons game, that's when his role started to diminish. He got injured, and then Singletary took over. But it leads you to wonder, okay, so what does Nick Caserio feel about Dameon Pierce? We asked him about Dameon today. This is the answer he gave. Again, with more highlights from 2022 to jostle your memory.
The big thing right now is being in good condition, which he is, having a good attitude and having a right mindset and a good work ethic. And DP is all of those things. So I would say just watching him move on the field. I mean, he looks pretty good. Looks like he's in good condition. Yeah, I think everybody's looking forward to the opportunity in front of them, which is that's all you can really focus on. You can't really worry about what's happened in the past. You can only control where you are here today. So I mean, he's got as good of an attitude as anybody on the team, regardless of what's happened in the past. And he's admitted to y'all what happened last year, but it's a credit to him that he has enough, I would say, self-awareness and honesty to make that assessment. We're glad DP's here and looking forward to what he could do to help our team here this season. You know, hopefully he's going to be a big part of what we're doing. So he's had a great attitude, and he's working his ass off so far, which is great to see.
So look, there's plenty of room for both Jawhar Jordan and Dameon Pierce on this football team, especially since they both have ability as returners. So I'm pulling for both these guys this year, both because I really love Dameon Pierce as a person. I think I'm going to like Jawhar Jordan. And as a Texans fan, I would love them to look the best they can absolutely be. I think that Jawhar Jordan, his ability to kind of cut and get downhill, his decisiveness is going to serve him well in this offense. I also think one more thing that Nick said today, he was telling a story about Randy Moss coming to the Patriots and how when Randy Moss got to the Patriots, they realized, okay, we need to drop some new routes that we don't currently have in the playbook, because we're not going to try to take Randy Moss and tie him into our system. We're going to do what he does best. Now, Randy Moss is obviously a special scenario, but I think that through an entire offseason, the Texans probably will figure out, okay, what do we know that Dameon does well? How can we incorporate him more into some of the things that he needs to get better at? But let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. We got a kid here who won the angriest run of the year in 2022, does all the right things, has all the right energy. And I think Jawhar Jordan, given that he's a smaller guy that plays the way he does, I think that he and Dameon can be a really good 2-3 punch behind Joe Mixon. And you have all different skill sets between those three, and then whomever else is competing for the job. I'm Seth Payne, played for the Texans long time ago. Now I do sports radio on Sports Radio 610. Please, if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, tell a friend, share it, send it to your pastor and all of your favorite substitute teachers. Thanks, everybody.